Hello friends, today is the second video of our survival game series. Today I'm going to show you how to create the character setup from the beginning using C++. So let's open our project. Let's go to our project. It was opened in the background. Yeah. So first of all, we should create the C++ class for our character. So go to tools, new C++ class, and then choose character, and then click class type as public, and then assign a name. I'll add survival character, and then let's create the class. So after creating the class, we should reload our Visual Studio project uh, like this. So now we have our survival character header and the C++ class. uh, Today we are taking help from ChatGPT and Google, which will help you to uh, teach yourself or self study, because we don't know everything in Unreal Engine C++. So we should always get some help from Google. So I'll get Spring Arm components header file here, because we should not remember everything. We can always go to Google and find the relevant classes and components. So yeah, it's available here, game framework slash Spring Arm component. Yeah, let's import it to the header file here. Now under public section, let's create a U property, and then create a variable for Spring Arm component. I'll name it as the camera boom. uh, Under your properties, let's add edit anywhere, and then blueprint read write, and as the category I'll add as camera. And let's find the class for camera component as well, because we should have assigned camera under the camera boom. Yeah, it's available here as camera slash camera component, and let's include it in our header as well. Yeah, now we can create a variable for our camera component as well. I'll copy and paste the same U property for Spring Arm component, and then create a variable for camera component. Yeah, now let's create assets for create default. First, let's delete these commands, because we don't need that, and then let's create camera boom, create default sub object, and then let's add the variable type as u Spring Arm component. I'm doing a mistake. I'll fix the next step. It should be use Spring Arm component. Yeah, I did the mistake, so I'll fix it like this. And then we should assign this camera boom to the root component. I'll do this like this, uh, by calling setup attachment, and then under the brackets, let's call root component, and then let's create our camera component as well, like by assigning the player camera as create default sub object, and under braces u camera component, and let's add the name that the name that visible in the blueprints. And let's attach this player camera to the spring arm component by calling setup attachment, and under the brackets let's as camera boom. Yeah. Now let's add the mapping context in the event begin play, because now we are using enhanced input system in Unreal Engines. Therefore, we should have add the mapping context in the begin place. So let's find the code by getting help from ChatGPT like this. Let's use this forward because if we include this class here, it will import it to the every child classes that derived from this survival character. It is called a forward declaration, and then let's create a variable for the input mapping context. Now copy and paste this add mapping context code from ChatGPT. Before doing that, we should add this include headers in our C++ class, and then let's copy and paste add mapping context part. uh, Now we should create variables for input actions. So let's ask it from ChatGPT for the include classes and the variable types. Yeah, like this. I will forward declare the UE input as well, and then let's create two input actions for the movement, and look for mouse movement, and then for the jumping input action as well. So let's create three variables for that. uh, I'll name this as IA move for the movement action, and then let's copy and paste it because we have three input actions here, and I'll name this part as IA look, and this is as IA jump. Now let's create functions for each input actions to bind, because whenever we use enhanced input system in C++, we can bind actions to functions. In order to do that, we should copy this we should copy this and paste it under our function like this, and let's create a function for look character as well, and also for jumping part. And let's create definitions for each of them. I think there is an error. I guess it's because I forgot to include input action for this function, because it use input action value uh, as an input. So let's include it. Let's find it in ChatGPT's code. Yeah, we can copy it and paste it in the C++ class. Mm, the error is still there. Let's move this header into the survival characters header, because the f input action value is also used there, and this shouldn't be input action. We should include the input action value. So let's get the import uh, for the f input action value, and let's copy this and paste it in our C++ class. The error is still there. I guess we should move this input action value to our header file, because the if input action value is used there as well. Therefore, let's cut and paste it in the survival character header. Yeah, like this. I guess the error should be gone now. Yeah, now it's not there. Now let's create a variable to say store this input value. I'll create name it as character movement vector, and I don't remember how to store this. I guess I have to get ChatGPT help again. I Yes. Yeah, let's get him. I'll copy it and paste it to the ChatGPT and ask him as how to cast this. Yeah, I cannot cast that. I only can use this value dot get function. Hmm. Let's paste it here. Let's add a UE log to log the inputs to check whether the inputs are working or not. Before that, I guess we have to bind the functions with input actions. So for now, I'll leave it as empty text, and then let's ask him from ChatGPT to how to bind actions. Yeah, it was there. the same functions. I guess ChatGPT is correct. I can copy the code from ChatGPT. One reason to use C++ for development because we can always get support from ChatGPT and Google to copy and paste codes. Otherwise, if we only use with blueprint, so we cannot do something similar. Therefore, I guess we should use C++. Uh, yeah, let's bind inputs for the movement and look and the jump. The IA move as the input action, and then let's add the trigger event as triggered, and then this as the U object. And when we add the function name, we should add this at sign before, and then let's add a survival character, and then we can add the function name here like this. Let's bind the inputs for look and jump functions as well. So for the jump input, I guess the starter trigger event is better. Otherwise, if you use triggered, so whenever we press space button for a longer time, it will call uh, frame by frame. Therefore, it's better to use started. Uh, yeah. Now let's log the inputs. Some like this. I don't remember how to log uh, inputs, so let's ask ChatGPT help uh, to print the variable values like this. Yeah, he knows everything. We can use percentage mark for a float. Yeah, as I said, we don't remember everything in coding. We can always get help in Google. Of course, if you are going to face an exam or something, in that case, you have to remember everything in your mind. Otherwise, it's not necessary. We can always go to Google and find codes for us and find forgotten headers, and everything is there. Hmm, let's assign this character look vector as well, and then log this also. Let's copy and paste it in look character function as well. And when it comes to jump character, it's not an 2D vector, it's only a bool. Mm, let's fix this first and then move to the jump character function. Yeah, let's let's assign it to a bool and then print it. Only if this bool is true, value dot get as a bool. And let's check the bool and then look the input value. Now let's go to our project and compile it. Let's check all input values are working or not. uh, Before that, we should create assets for input mapping context and input actions. So let's wait until this uh, program is compiled. Yeah, no errors. First, I guess we have to create an folder for our project as survival game, and then let's create a folder for blueprints. We should always use an organized structure for our projects, otherwise it will jumble the project. So let's create a folder for the character, and let's click all classes and then search for survival character. So we can click this the survival character that we created before, and I'll name it as BP survival character, and let's open it. Yeah, there is the camera boom and player camera that we are created here using create default sub object, and as we coded, it was attached to the root component and the player camera to the camera boom like this. Let's find the inputs by searching input, because we added input as the category. Yeah, uh, the variables are available for us. So let's create variables. Let's create assets for inputs. First, let's create a folder for input, and then let's create the input action for movement. I'll call it as IA move. It should be axis 2D as the value type, and then let's create another input action for the look, IA look. I guess we should rename it as by using survival name, because otherwise there are another input action values available in the project default. Therefore, add the survival part for our movement input action as well, and let's create an input action for our jump as well. For this, uh, we should use bool as the value type. For other two input actions, it was 2D vector. Yeah, let's assign the input actions we have created just now. The look survival, then jump survival. Yeah, the let's create the input mapping context. I'll rename it as IMC survival inputs keyboard. First, let's add the default key mappings for our movements. Let's search for movement survival. Uh, let's add keys for W, A, S, and D. Let's click here and press W key on the keyboard. do this for is we should add the modifier as negate because s should be returning and negative value uh, when w returns positive value the s should return a negative value for this a and d. A is the negative one, and also I'm not sure about this modifier. uh, we should add a swizzle input axis values for A and D. I'm not sure I should add this for A and D or W and S. Let's check it afterwards. And for now, let's add another mapping for our look function. So for this, we need mouse X and mouse Y axis. Mouse Y. Yeah, let's add a modifier for the mouse Y. I'm doing a mistake here because I'm adding negate. It should be swizzle input axis values. I'll correct it afterwards. Let's add another mapping for the jump part. For that, let's assign spacebar and let's assign this to our default mapping context. Now it's completed. Let's check the inputs are working or not. Before that, we should place our default character on the world and we should possess it. First, we should visualize our player. For now, we don't have any skeletal mesh. Therefore, let's add the cylinder uh, to see our player is moving or not. I'll resize it for our match with our capsule component and let's place this in our world. Now search for possess and then uh, apply player 0 as auto possess player. uh, that will work whenever we play the game, so it will possessed. Yeah, the inputs are working. I think for the mouse values the y value is not updating. We need to check it in mapping context for the issue. mm, Movement values are working. uh, this is the issue I mentioned before, so we should add swizzle input axis here. That will fix that issue. Yeah, now mouse X and Y values are working. And jump button also working. So now it's time to add functionalities with the functions. For look character, let's add controller yo input for character look uh, by using character look vectors y value. No, it should be x value, and then let's add control input as the character look vectors y value. It will help us to rotate the character's camera. Let's compile our project again. There is an build failed error. I guess there is some issue with our newly added code. So let's check it from asking ChatGPT again. Let's copy it and paste it to ChatGPT and ask. I guess uh, there should not be an issue in the code. Yeah, he's also saying that the code is correct. I guess it's the issue is from the editor. Let's close it and compile it again from the. Let's try again by compiling. I yeah, the error is still there. Let's close the editor. Let's close and rebuild it. So guys, this is a common issue. The closed editor is still in the background. In that case, this error can be shown. Now it's okay. Yeah, as I guessed, there is no error. Now the code is working. So guys, I'm adding these errors and trying again and googling about the errors and getting some ChatGPT help, because you should also know how to fix an error or a bug. Uh, we learn. Wait. Yeah, inputs are working. Yeah, we learn by trials and errors. We should always do errors and faults. That's how we learn. So that's why I show you how I do mistakes and how to fix them. So that will help you to understand how to fix an error. Mm, the mouse Y is not updating because uh, we should untick the phone use controller rotation U. Let's find it. Yeah, let's untick it, and also we should not use we should use orient rotation to movement using capsule component. No, it's available in the character movement. Let's search for orient rotation to movement. Yeah, it's there. Let's tick it, and also we are rotating the camera boom. Therefore, here let's tick this use phone control rotation. Here, let's tick it. So that will work. Our mouse functions. Mm, let's add a cube for our player's face. Otherwise, we cannot make sure our character is rotating or not. Therefore, let's add a cube for one side. Let's create a material for the face. Otherwise, we cannot uh, identify the face from the body. Let's add a black color. I'll name it as M black, and then let's open the map and press 3, and then click your mouse and it will paste this black color node, and let's assign it here. I'll resize for a bit. mm, yeah, now it looks like a mirror sunglass. Yeah, now our player is wearing a sunglass here. Yeah, I guess we should add negate for this mouse y axis. Let's check it again. Yeah, now mouse X and Y are working perfect, and we can see his sunglass as well. He's not rotating. So let's add I'm not remember I don't remember how to get control forward vector to move. Let's ask it from ChatGPT. Yeah, he always has a code. Let's copy it uh, to move the character for control rotation. Select the code, copy it, and paste it in our code. So now we have our forward and right vectors. Now we can add movement inputs. Let's just call add movement input. Yeah, like this. Let's add movement input node of the function with the forward vector and right vector that we just calculated. First, let's add that moment input for the forward vector. Let's add the direction as forward, and then for the scale value, let's get the character movement vectors y value for the forward vector. And for the right vector, we have to get character movement vectors x vector. Yeah, that should work. Let's go to our project and then recompile it again. Yeah, succeeded with no errors. Let's play. As I guessed, I added the swizzle input in a wrong way. We should add this swizzle input for the W and S, not for the A and D. So let's delete it from A and D and add it to W and S keys as modifiers. Yeah, like this for the S key as well. Another swizzle input. Yeah, that should work. Yeah, it works as expected. Yeah, let's add a jump function as well. It's not a big deal. We have to just call jump only. That's all. Because Unreal Engine has a default function for. And also let's delete these log files because we don't need anymore. Yeah, again it was succeeded without no errors. Yeah, jump is working. It is a default function from Unreal Engine. Yeah, everything works as we expected. So this is the end of this video. It takes it took more time than we expected. So I'm going to wrap up the video here. So I'll describe the code. I'll go through the code again for you. So in here we we are creating spring arm component as variable, and also here I created camera component as a variable. So some of you might know about the specifiers. So we are creating the objects here like this. We are creating camera boom using create default subobject as use spring arm component, and we name it as camera boom, and attaching it to the root component. We can just call root component as our root. So we can the capsule component is the root here, and camera boom is attached to it. And here we are creating the player camera by using create default subobject uh, using u camera component, and it's named as player camera. We can see it in the blueprint. It is attached to the camera boom, and the name is camera player camera. So some of you might know about these specifiers, but I'm going to explain a bit about these specifiers. So if we use edit anywhere, we can edit this property anywhere. uh, Anywhere means in the defaults and the instances. Default means we can edit it from the blueprint defaults, and the instance means if we created an actor or instance in the world, uh, we can edit this as property here there as well. But if we use edit defaults only, we can edit this only in the blueprint. We cannot uh, edit this as instance. If we use edit instance only, we cannot edit this in the blueprint or defaults. We can only edit this in the instance after placing the blueprint into the world. I'll show you. I have created this camera boom and the player camera here, so we can edit its properties in the defaults, and also in the instance we can see the settings as editable here. And next one is blueprint read write. If we use blueprint read write, we can read this property in blueprint, and also we can write it as well in the blueprint. Otherwise it's not visible to the blueprint if we don't use this. There is another function called specifier as blueprint read only. If we use this, we only can read this property in blueprint. We cannot write it there. I'll show you an example. Yeah, for these input actions, it only uses the edit defaults only. We cannot we should not be edited these input actions in the instance. Let's search for input. Yeah, it's not available there for editing, but in here the all inputs are available because we used the property as it's under the pawn class. Yeah, because we added the specifier as uh, edit defaults only. Yeah, that's what it does. And here in these variables we are creating the input mapping context, uh, which should be added in event begin play, and these are the functions that we should bind in setup player. Here setup player input component, this is how we bind in input actions with the functions using enhanced input by casting the player input component like this. mm, this is how we look and this is how we jump, and I explained it just now. Yeah, I guess this is the end of our today video. So guys, I guess you enjoyed this video. The comment section is always available for you to add comments, suggestions, the questions you have. I'll always here for reply or answer your questions. So our end result is like this: the player can uh, look around and walk around, and the player can jump. So I guess guys, I'm going to wrap up this video here. So in the next video, let's see how to add a skeletal mesh with animations to this cylinder character. So guys, let's stop this video, and thank you for all who are watching, and goodbye.